Perfect, 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 perfect.
All right, what's up, everybody? We are back for another episode of Pressing Buttons. It's been a minute, and a lot of gaming stuff has come
It's the
to
end of
our.
the year. It's the end of the year. It's just it feels like this was burning since the beginning. But we've talked about this issue about since last year. We probably talked about this. It felt like we were talking about E3 multiple times over about what's happening with it and all that stuff, and they keep doing a lot of stop and go with it, and then all of a sudden, finally last week, confirmed E3 is dead. It is officially dead. They ain't no we're pausing it and no, it's done.
I think the real question is, did anybody care?
A lot of people that cared, like personally to me, E3 was one of those things that maybe earlier on, way back in the early 2000s, I was interested in wanting to go to it because it was, where we were at in terms of getting our gaming news. You either you watch G4 or you had to get a Game Pro magazine or EGM or Tips and Tricks magazine to see what was the news coming out of E3. And it just felt like over the years, especially with the advent of YouTube and just a lot of other creative personalities giving you the gaming news and stuff, it kind of got to a point to where I said in my head, I don't know if it's for you or D and stuff, where I was like, well, E3 just seems like a place you just hang out at. But even then, that just kind of felt like, why am I even spending all the money out there? So that's where I didn't give a shit E3 came about. It was really early 2000s.
Yeah, Mount Stream says once it was in hiatus, I didn't miss it as a viewer, and you're not wrong to feel that way.
Yeah.
To be honest, for me, where I saw the trend with E3, where it used to be just a big trade show. You mostly went to E3 if you were someone who worked in the industry or you were a journalist for games media, back when it was respectable. You also saw other, you might have seen like one or two celebrities that probably that would attend E3 back in its heyday. I would say
mid-tier celebs. You didn't really get no higher tier.
No. Hey, look, if you caught him in between movies, you might catch.
Jamie Foxx came 1 year, and that was stealth.
You might catch one A+ celebrity that's there, but still, you throw him enough money, like at least one celebrity, E3 would drop the funds on to get them to show up. But once they decided, hey, we're gonna make this like a big public thing, we're gonna invite everybody, anyone who's anyone, to come in and check out E3. That's when you saw that paradigm shift. You know what I'm saying?
Well, even then, on top of what I said and what you're saying, once Nintendo did their shit, it was a wrap.
I was getting to that, but
sorry.
But one of the things I noticed was I just noticed like a bunch of trends. First, people started showing up. Then E3 had to keep outdoing itself every single year, and you know where I'm going with this. It kept trying to outdo itself,
and it really didn't have to outdo itself. It's just be the thing that presents games. That's it. You don't have to go stupid with it.
Then you go and make these crazy. Then you go and make crazy decisions that no one had a problem with until you made the change. Number one, remember the year. There's so many memorable years I have of E3, but do you remember this one in particular? Do you remember when E3 got rid of booth babes?
Yeah. Which I get it. I mean,
No. Here's the thing: they got rid of them, realized they fucked up and brought them back in. It took them, I think, what 2 or 3 years for them to bring it like to bring back the booth babes. We're like, why did you get rid of them? No one had a problem with this.
I think that was a flailing. Them bringing it back, like booth babes to me. I think they were harmless for E3, right?
They
Obviously,
were harmless. There was no reason to get rid of them.
They were there. They served for some of the dudes that's like ooh tits, and all that shit. That was
not even that. I mean, bro, that's like going to hot import nights and there are no models, no import models.
Yeah,
like, none.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? High import nights having those chicks served probably way more of a better purpose than E3 having them. And it's not to say I'm against what E3 having them there for, but like you said, you took them out. Why? Like, was it to save money? Like, how much money were you really saving taking the booth babes out?
It was eye candy. But that was just one of the many memories I have of E3. I'll never forget back in the mid '90s when Sony showed up,
PlayStation on the ground,
dropped PlayStation, and said price, which they did it right after Sega did the Sega Saturn reveal. Sega Saturn revealed the what was it, $399 for the Saturn, and Sony just says, "Here's Sony PlayStation. Here's the price, $299."
They did the Sega twice. They did the Sega with that one, and then turned around and big dick swing with a PlayStation 2, which it was smart of Sony because let's be real. Like people sat there and said, "Well, the Dreamcast was more powerful." You're right. Here's the issue, though. We were at that point where a DVD player was stupid expensive. It just was, right? So when you have a PlayStation 2 that actually plays DVDs and you can actually game, that was the big get.
And it was also the cheapest DVD player that you can get at the time.
Yeah. Cheapest DVD player. It was the big get. It was sort of like a 2-in-1 entertainment hub, so to speak, before, Microsoft swooped in and tried to do that for the Xbox One, but that's a different conversation and stuff. But like, that was the thing. And it didn't mean that, oh man, Dreamcast was shit. It's like, no, it's just Sony saw a need in both markets and was like, I knew people that never gamed, but they had a PlayStation 2 for DVD playing.
Well, that was also Sony capitalizing on the fact that they own so many movie studios, and a lot of the fact that their movies are printed on DVD. They were ahead of the curve when it came to media format. They knew that nobody was. They knew that the age of us running games off of conventional CDs was no longer a thing. We needed DVDs. We needed we needed bigger storage to like to hold the games on a disc.
Now let me ask you this, from your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Besides how they marketed the system, do you think it was smart of Sony when they had the Vita to try to push their UMD as like the big next thing? Because I felt the UMD, it felt like a step backwards, even though it wasn't, because that's the only way you're going to get these big graphical output games on this small system. But like, I couldn't think of any other option.
Not exactly.
Okay.
I'll tell you what it was. The proprietariness of Sony and all their infinite wisdom when it came to their consoles, specifically handhelds, when it came to the PSP, which is what you're referring to, because
yes.
Vita had their games on like these little specific, again, proprietary cartridges, but that's a separate thing altogether. Where Sony messed up, in my opinion, was the memory cards. When they put out those proprietary Sony Pro Duo cards that they're only of that type. Like you couldn't just go out and buy, like a aftermarket brand of memory, like a memory cards, because number one, you can only buy the Sony brands and they were expensive as shit and they only came in 3 different sizes. Now, as far as the UMD disc goes, UMD was a 1.2 size disc, 1.2 gig size disc that went into the PSP, and it was kind of dope. But the way I looked at it, it was merely an adapted version of Sony's other proprietary system that didn't take off at all in America, but was widely popular in Asia, the mini disc. It's like they just adapted that technology and put it into a form of a game. It was literally a mini disc, but for PlayStation.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't want to say that it necessarily killed it, because it didn't kill it. PSP and even the Vita had a ton of games. Sony just stopped supporting it after a few years.
Yeah, because it's just kind of crazy in how far ahead that the PSP and Vita was, even with the Switch.
Mhm.
Like, I remember when the Switch came out, I was like, damn, man, Sony could have really been in the same position as the Switch and really had something. Because, I mean, if you really think about it, the Switch was like just more powerful. The PSP and Vita were more powerful than the Switch and stuff. Because, I mean, let's be real now, the complaints people have for the Switch now is like with Nintendo mainly is, as much as Nintendo, they're not really in the business of making graphically powerful stuff. It's just a lot of folks feel Nintendo has a potential to actually match what Sony and Microsoft is doing and still maintain what they're doing. But, they have their ideology, which you understand and get. But,
the thing with Nintendo is Nintendo knows that they're in a completely separate league on their own. They're driving down a lane that only they can drive, because no one else wants to step. Not even Nintendo wants to step in Microsoft and Sony's back and forth battle of, oh, we're different. You two couldn't be any more the same, to be honest. The only thing that separates the two of you is just exclusives. Microsoft, where's yours? But Sony, we know what we know what we got. You guys got God of War, Gran Turismo, and all the other in-house games from Sony. But Nintendo, they're like, no, we're just going to continue to do what we do. We put out games, and we put out quality games, which is why we never drop the price of our games.
Yeah.
And we just go from there. But circling back to Nintendo, you're right. The moment Nintendo said, yeah, we're not attending E3 anymore, they they set off the green light for all the other developers and manufacturers to say, hey guys, you don't have to throw money at this organization. You can do your own thing.
Mm-hmm. And that's my thing too. It's to me, it's a situation where you want to strike the balance between giving people a reason to want to fly their ass out to California, LA to go to E3. And then like also people like me who is like, I don't feel like, I'm just going to watch it from home. And like, what are you offering people in person that people online can't get? Because you can't just say, well, booth babes. I'm like, well,
they're
demos. Well, I can get a demo from the people when they tell me, oh yeah, you can download this demo. It's like, what are you offering that's going to make me want to come out to E3 other than, oh, I can hang out with my friends? And I'm like, okay, cool, I guess.
Well, not every publisher would have a demo available. They'll have a demo on the floor, but they won't release it publicly. Like, case in point, remember that Toriyama game that I played at Tokyo Game Show?
Yeah.
Still no demo. There's been no demo for that.
Yeah, they just had it at the major conventions.
It was just at that convention.
Anime conventions, and yeah, it's really just it was just New York Comic Con and San Diego. That was it.
Exactly. They never released that demo to the public.
Yeah, which people are still trying to figure out when that shit's coming out. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's just one of those things where what do you do to make it? What do you do to make it worthwhile? Because I mean, besides you, there are other people that we follow, like DSP. I remember years ago, many years ago, DSP was at E3, and one of his complaints, and it's understandable, it's a valid complaint too. It's just you're down there on the floor, it's packed, you're standing in long ass fucking damn lines around the corner just to play a demo of a game, which you expected, but it shouldn't be that fucking bad, and it's just a lot of stuff you have to just deal with. And it's like basically think San Diego, but with video games. And then you start understanding why people, not just DSP, there were a lot of other, content creators too at that time that were like, yeah, I'm having fun because I'm hanging with friends, but at the same time, damn, this shit's fucking exhausting.
Well, that just tells you what you need to do. You You got to be an influencer, and that way you can skip the lines, or be a member of the press. You can skip all the lines and and take priority.
Yeah. Hold on for 1 second.
Okay. All right.
All right, I'm back. Sorry. But nah, but you're right. It's to me that, like I said, my hype for wanting to go to E3 died after the early 2000s. And to be honest, you could say the correlation, if you really think about it, E3 dying just took a long time. It correlates with G4. It's like, what is your purpose now?
Very true.
Because like I said, G4 dying had more to do with, again, the changing ways in which people get information. And again, YouTube play a part of it. Twitch now is playing a part of it too. You can get your gaming news from us or any other Joe Blow out here, and stuff. But that's talking about it, and it's just at this point, me and you, we're giving a different perspective on it, and then somebody else as a content creator is giving their perspective on it. And you didn't get that with G4. It was just at most us on message boards. That was about it. But now, you can just get the ease of access right there in your face, off rip.
Yeah,
So
you really didn't have to you don't even have to bother leaving. I mean, I remember back when G4 was covering E3. Like
yeah.
when G4 covered E3, you didn't even have to be on the floor.
Yeah, and it was great though, because it mitigated people like me, because it's like, damn, I wish I was at E3 seeing it, because again, unless you were reading GamePro magazines off the newsstand, that was your only way of getting that news. Oh shit, G4 is there, but like I said, you get Black Hokage and the rest of them there and stuff. It's like, oh well, what's the purpose of G4 now? Don't need you. Sorry, done.
It's like let it be done.
And it doesn't mean that online only for these kind of game events. It should just strictly be online only. It's just, if you're going to have a physical event, you have to bring something to the table that's going to get people to want to come, and you still have your online thing and stuff. And I think that's the balance that needs to happen. If there's another sort of E3 sort of thing that happens, well, I mean, obviously it's dead, but if somebody wants to do a gaming expo like E3, that's what they have to do. And maybe PAX could be the thing, because PAX is still going strong, so maybe that could be it.
I mean, what if you don't even need it? Like we don't need another incarnation of E3, in my opinion, because now that a lot of publishers are kind of in bed with other organizations and events, like hell, you get events that could be reviewed, it could be unveiled at DreamHack, San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, what is it, Evo, just all these different events. Like a publisher could just say, hey, why don't we reveal our big surprise at this event?
Yes. Yeah, because that's the reason why you go to a like, I think Fighter Z and even some of the Capcom stuff got premiered at San Diego. I remember one year we went, and I think some of the Fighter Z stuff got premiered at San Diego.
Like the newer DLC got revealed at San Diego or New York.
Yeah, and I mean, you're getting a lot of mainstream people. You're getting your average person that goes to those conventions. They're seeing it on top of us as gamers that are going to be there too. So yeah, you're right on that. I mean, and it's especially for somebody like Sony. They can do just anytime, like, hey, we're going to do a Sony experience on the live stream platforms. Follow our Sony PlayStation YouTube page, or follow this page in order to, see it. So the options are there.
You had the Sony, that's something else that came from it. the Sony experience. There was the Sony experience, and then there's matter of fact, Sony gave us two: Sony experience and Sony State of Play.
There you go.
Like between those two events, Sony has no reason to be at any of these things.
And here's the kicker: and I think the biggest thing people aren't realizing is, imagine if you will, you're Sony, you do State of Play, right? There's been 2 State of Plays this year that people were like after it, and it was State of Plays that was like 20 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you might know what those 2 were, but I remember people afterwards just like, now imagine if they put that shit, if that was E3 and that happened,
Yep.
You know how many people would have been pissed? So like when you put it online like that, I'm not mad because it's like, it's 20 minutes. The fuck am I gonna complain about? It's like, that's just whatever. And you just move on with your life. You're not mad. But you do that on a stage, people would be pissed. Like I flew out to LA for this shit. Like, so I think that's the other positive thing people got to realize too. It's like, well, at least you didn't waste your ticket to go into E3 for this shit. So it's like, all right, cool.
Like I always look at how long exactly some State of Plays are, because the thing that you never know about all these different shows is sometimes you think they're going to be, at the very least they'll be 45, at the very least you'll be 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes they can go all the way up to 3.5 hours, Hey, shout outs to the Game Awards. You want to segue into that?
Yeah, segue into Game Awards. Game Awards are basically, you know what? I'm just going to be re-released this year and last
Video
year.
game Christmas.
It's Video Game Christmas / it's basically Video Game Awards E3, because that's really all you're watching the Game Awards for at this point is the fucking trailers for the games. That's all it really is.
And let me tell you, bro, this is some buttons that we need to press, sir. This year's Game Awards was probably the one time that the awards played backseat to their own show. Like,
well, yeah, because again,
like everyone,
it was all trailers.
And that's not even the case. At least not for me. That really wasn't the case. Like I didn't care about the awards itself, but it was just weird seeing the award show become self-aware. That
Skynet, it's self-aware.
Well, listen, between Jeff Keighley and all the presenters.
Actually, pause for a second. You notice all of them actually dressed like fucking adults this time around. I
will say this.
Just saying. I'm just pointing it out.
No. No, CJ. I will say this. This had to have been the first time that I did not see a blazer and jeans combo this year.
Right.
I did not see a blazer and jeans combo once. Not once. In that 3.5 hours of the Game Awards, not
actually blazer. It was actually full suits. No blazer jeans.
Suits. No one came out off of that. Okay. Like I'm a stiff in a suit, but I'm trying to be cool. So let me throw on some Wrangler jeans with this sport coat. Like no one did that, and I was like, "Oh, thank God, we're finally getting away from that. We're getting away from the blazers and jeans." People came out, like you said, dressed as adults. But I will say this: since it became self-aware, and I watched as the awards that were presented, like hell, when they did the nominees, it's like bullet points, and they just name off what was what. And then give it like 10 seconds, and then they say, "Oh, the award for best music or whatever. This game skipped. The award for like the nominees for this category. This game skipped. The nominees for best art direction. 5 games. This game. The next."
I mean, but that's the thing. It's like they
you know what? Thank you. I appreciate it. No, I really do appreciate it, because at the end of the day, I do not care. I don't care about any of this shit, because this is nothing more than a popularity contest that a lot of people that more than likely paid money to, like, you pay to win for that shit.
I mean, the biggest thing for me out of it, from the Game Awards, is one, Sega putting out that trailer for their updated games, and it's not updated like, oh, it's just high HD. No, these are from the ground up updated, like Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, was it Golden Axe? Streets
So,
of Rage, and I believe
so what it was Sega just dropped this surprise announcement. Technically, I don't want to say it was a surprise because months and months earlier,
Mhm.
if you remember, and I think I had mentioned this
we
on
might, yeah, I think we mentioned
I
it
think I
on it.
mentioned on previous pressing buttons.
Yeah.
There was a leak that dropped, and it's still all over the internet. You can find it
Mhm.
of Jet Set Radio. If anything, it was like new footage of Jet Set Radio. And when I saw this, I said, for the love of God, Sega, please let this be real. Please let this be real. Please let this be real. Fast forward to today, and here we are. Oh, that shit was real. They first of all, outside of that leak of Jet Set Radio, everything else was under total lock and key. Like no one knew about this. Like this is probably Sega's 90% best kept secret ever because when first of all they show off a commercial of, let's be real, the way that this commercial started out, it halfway looked like a commercial that you see under Twitch's ads.
Yeah.
Like them Twitch ads that you usually see of, oh, gamer hanging out in gamer apartment, gamer roommate shows in, gamers gaming, right? And I'm thinking, all right, where's the Mountain Dew? Where's the Doritos? Where's the pizza rolls? I mean, something tells me we're either gonna get some kind of product placement, but I noticed that I'm hearing Sega sound effects, and then the power goes out, and the main question that was asked is, did you save the game? What do I look like? Of course I saved the game. Then freaking wave of, oh, did we get transported to a multiverse? Because this is that type of shit that we see in these multiverse movies now. And the nods. Everything was a Sega nod. The camera zooming in on Homeboy's eye, that was a classic nod to the old Sega. It was like the old Sega spot at the end of their commercials where it always shows it always shows an iris with the word Sega floating by. So you heard all the sound effects. You're hearing Sonic sounds. You're hearing like Golden Axe. You're hearing all these sounds. Then the footage drops. It's Jet Set Radio, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Shinobi, Crazy Taxi,
and
all 5 of those games. And they said, oh, by the way, much more is coming. I said, Sega, what are we doing? Number one, are we outsourcing? Because these all look like separate projects that you outsource to other companies to make. And if so, please let them be good. Jet Set Radio looked awesome. Crazy Taxi looked awesome. Yes, this is all like early in development footage that they dropped, but it looked good. Like Crazy Taxi looked fun. Like I actually want to play it.
It looks like a way updated version of what we were getting.
Yeah, and Jet Set definitely looked fun. I can't wait to play that. And I know what caused Sega to drop that Jet Set. I'm gonna blame that on Bomb Rush. Like Bomb Rush Cyberpunk.
Oh yeah.
That game dropped. Everybody's looking at Sega like, so y'all couldn't give us a new Jet Set, but these guys can drop a game that's similar to Jet Set. So Sega's like, all right, here's the trailer. We're working on it. We just didn't want to tell nobody.
I mean,
like, the Shinobi game gave me, I don't know about you, but I got Ninja Gaiden, Yaiba, and Strider vibes from it.
Yeah, that's pretty much the new Strider game. Well, the Strider game that came out, what was it? Was that before the pandemic, 2019 it came out?
Way before the pandemic. Strider, dude, that was 2013 when that Strider game came out. It was
either way, it was a good game, good update. Yeah, that's pretty much what the Shinobi game is. It's pretty much that. Kind of was it as we call it, the Metroidvania thing. That's pretty much what the new Shinobi is. Which I mean, look, it's the if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of vibe any damn way.
I don't think it's Metroidvania. I do think it's going to be like a side scroller, typical Shinobi type game, which I'm fine with that. Moving on to Streets of Rage. When I saw Streets of Rage was in 3D, a lot of people were feeling some way because, well, number one, the success of Streets of Rage 4. That game was huge, wildly successful. Now, for them to drop this Streets of Rage game and it's in 3D, I'm like, give it a chance. It kind of looks dope.
Because we just got 4, which is still fucking cooking for everybody now. So
It
it's like,
is. It is. It definitely put a lot of the beat 'em ups back on the map again.
yeah, I mean,
So with it
so
going to 3D, I'm fine with that. You know, there was a 3D game for Streets of Rage. If you had the old Dreamcast magazines from back in the day, they showed footage of what Streets of Rage 4 was supposed to look like. And yeah, it definitely looked jank.
mhm.
But then there was another studio that was making a Streets of Rage game in 3D, but they canceled the project but kept it. Was it they can't? I guess they canceled the contract, but the project kept going. Went to another publisher, and we got 2 games. It was called Fighting Force.
I hated Fighting Force.
A lot of people did, but Fighting Force
You
was
dared to make a
originally
sequel too, and I'm like, you guys lost your
Fighting,
goddamn mind.
Fighting Force originally was supposed to be Streets of Rage. It was supposed to be the 3D Streets of Rage, but anyways, Crazy Taxi. I'm happy. I'm happy to see Crazy Taxi back again. Now,
Updated finally.
yeah, and and then we're getting a Golden Axe. I was like,
I was
son,
never big into Golden Axe, but I respected what it was because I see it constantly at speed runs.
I'm like, son, give us the Holy Trinity. Give us a new Altered Beast. Let's go.
Didn't they try to do a new Alter Beast?
Possible, but with this, I'm talking about coming off the strength of this trailer release, since they did say much more. Like, oh, so you got other games that's in the works that you're not showing us, and I would love to believe that that Golden Axe and what was it? Fucking Alex Kidd, or Kid Chameleon, or like any of those classics that Sega used to do, outsource it and and let that be that. Yes, thank you. Back in the PS2, it was Japan and PAL exclusive Altered Beast, and it was terrible.
Okay, that's what it was. Because I remember they had that in what was the other one with Arthur?
What?
Ghosts and Ghouls. They
Yeah,
did. It was like,
Ghosts and Goblins or Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
but it was another one where it was the guy with the sword.
Maximo.
Maximo was pretty much Ghosts and Goblins, the
Yep.
updated version of it. That came out on PS2. Really good game. But yeah, they always did those kind of things. So for them to do this, especially for Jet Set Radio, I think that was the one that a lot of people liked because it was another company, an indie company that did their version of Jet Set Radio, even though it wasn't Jet Set Radio, and people were like, "Damn, how come Sega can't do it?" Well, there you go. Sega's now about to do it.
I don't know. To me, it was just a free running version of Jet Set. It was okay, and Hideki Nakanuma did the soundtrack for it, which was dope. And he came back and did the soundtrack for Jet Set Radio. I'm sorry, for Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which was also cool. But I'm like, I need you back in the space of Jet Set. That's where you belong, sir. Please, Hideki. If you're getting them back for, since you're doing this new Jet Set, I would be more than happy to have him back for that game. Oh God, what else was dropped? Oh yeah.
Oh, Blade. Yeah, so Marvel dropped a trailer for Blade.
Yeah, so
which
we got a Blade game coming out of Bethesda.
Yep.
That was another surprise no one saw coming.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were kind of wondering what was going to come of that. Like, is this going to be exclusive? Is it just because, again, another thing that happened was the fact that Blizzard acquisition actually went through for Microsoft, but it seems as though there is a bit of stipulations where it might be a situation where not a lot of the properties under Blizzard is going to be just Microsoft exclusive. It may either be still multi-platform, or it might be a time exclusivity, or some of them might just be exclusive because Kojima dropped him and Jordan Peele are teaming up for a game.
I was gonna save that, but since you brought it up, yeah, that Kojima and whatever the hell that was, trailer. Honestly, I hate that's the one thing I have come to hate with these independent gaming shows is whenever they drop trailers, can we see gameplay? I need gameplay. Don't give me 5 minutes of me sitting through a damn movie.
Yeah, it's like if that's the cutscene from the game, I'm fine with that. But it's like, bro, like,
I don't even want a cutscene. I want actual gameplay. Like, show me full on gameplay footage. Can I get gameplay footage? It is current year 2023 going into 2024. The days of you just dropping these cinematic trailers is done. Can we just stop that?
yeah, I mean, you're right. I ain't gonna sit there and say that you're not.
Don't get me wrong. I marked out like crazy for Metal Gear Solid Delta because I was just happy to see a Metal Gear game again. But even I'm throwing that also in the same category. Like, no, give me gameplay footage.
Which they, to their credit, we got it later on.
That's what I'm saying. To their credit, we did finally get some footage because they just showed off the engine. They just showed off with the engine. They didn't necessarily show full on gameplay.
Which I'm fine with it because, to be honest and stuff, when you get a situation where you want to show off the engine and what it could be, at least if you show off the engine, you give people like, okay, we know what the game is. Because this isn't a Killzone situation where it was a night and day difference. Like, I think to this day, I feel people were I think their anger was over exaggerated, but I still understood the undertones of the anger because it's like, well, you sold us on this one thing over here, and it turns out to be something completely different. It's like, come on.
No, sir. That one along with MotorStorm were cursed memories. Okay,
At least MotorStorm was good. So
no, the footage that we saw at the 2005 E3 that year, they made MotorStorm look like something completely different. Like in terms of graphic fidelity and gameplay, like it looked like a freaking movie, like a CG movie.
Yeah.
Then when the game drops, we're like, oh, this is kind of underwhelming. And then same thing for Killzone 2. Killzone 2, shit looked beautiful. Then the game comes out, and we're like, what the hell?
Ironic enough, Killzone 3, great.
Yeah.
Fucking love that game.
And then what do? You drop Killzone on PS4 and murdered the entire franchise after that.
Well, I mean, because to me, it was supposed to, like, if you give a shit about the Killzone franchise, like the third one ended with them defeating the Hellgeist, but it was at the expense of them nuking their planet.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck did we do? Like, it was I could say genocide, but it was pretty much genocide, except it was just genocide for the evil Nazi guy. So it's like, can you really feel bad about it? So when they did that fourth Killzone game, and it's like, why do I give a shit about a fourth game? You ended your third one off on a pretty interesting note. I didn't need a fourth one, and then you need a fourth one that was forgettable.
It wasn't good. That was the problem with the fourth one.
It wasn't good. You know why it wasn't good? It's because the narrative, like combat was great. It's just the narrative, you didn't give two fucks.
No, you didn't.
And that's the problem. It's like you can have good gameplay. That's great. Stealth gameplay, cool. What's your narrative? And every review of that game was, hey, great game. That narrative, not great.
The narrative was weak as hell, man. It was extremely weak.
And you didn't even know if it was a continuation of 3 because it's like the game was trying to be this pseudo, like, fresh start, but not really a fresh start. It's a sequel, but they didn't imply it's that stupid shit that I hate. And,
I know. What else? I'm trying to think what else did we see? Oh, bro, the Son Goku game, Wukong.
We'll see.
Wukong, bro, we're getting Son Goku in a Soulsborne type of game. I want to say that shit looks like a Soulsborne game.
Have fun.
I really hope.
Just like everybody losing their mind over Sparking Zero.
No, I don't care. Listen, Sparking Zero drop, graphics, cute, cool, whatever. Don't care.
It ain't Fighter Z. I don't give a shit.
That's what I'm saying. Unless Arc Systems is doing a sequel or a major overhaul update to fighters, no, I don't care. The fact that we're going back to Arena Fighter Dragon Ball games with everyone said, why isn't it called like was it the Ultimate Tenkaichi or whatever? How come it's not called that? Like, why isn't that called Budokai Tenkaichi 4? It's literally that. They're going off of the Japanese title.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, I don't care about this.
I don't
at all. I don't care. I personally do not find arena fighters enjoyable whatsoever.
I mean, maybe you know what it is. At least for me, the arena fighters are in that same category. Like again, we're early convention goers, and every time we go in the game room, whether it's Otakon, Katsu Anime USA, the Naruto,
The
or the battle
Naruto,
stage, those arena fighters were ingrained in my head. It's like, it looks
the
okay. It doesn't seem like as much
Naruto.
strategy.
See, the Naruto games were different. Like the Naruto games, it was more of it wasn't like a full on arena because theirs was actually a lot more condensed, and
Mm,
you had an opponent, whereas in these current day arena fighters, the freaking like playing field is so damn big that you got to spend more time running at each other than doing any actual fighting. And every
mm.
time you do any fighting, you knock them back so damn far because because anime, we got to keep it as close to anime as possible. You spend more time chasing than actual fighting. Whereas in the Naruto games, it was a lot more condensed. You are locked in, especially if you're doing 1v1. If it's 1v1, it's pretty much a damn fighter, straight up fighter.
Yeah, the DBZ ones, you're right. To
Yeah,
me, it felt like it was more like a party game, which I'm fine with. If you
which
got a
is
lot
what
of
it is
friends, cool.
because in Dragon Ball Arena fighters, you're on the ground, you're up in the air, you're hiding behind mountains, you're hiding behind buildings, you're blowing up stuff. It's again, like you said, it's a party. There's so much focus on everything else but the fighting, in my opinion. But again, Naruto was different. That was just straight up fighting. You went after your opponent to beat like just to beat the hell out of each other. Even the Naruto games on PS2, the Ultimate Ninja games.
Which I'm still laughing at how they really decided on these new games to be like, so this is just a same game with a new coat of paint. Gotcha.
When they turned the Ultimate Ninja games from PS2 into full on arena fighters, that's when I stopped being a fan of it. Yeah, thank you. Exactly. My Hero Academia, pretty much the copy pastas of the Naruto games.
Now the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure ones, those are actually fun.
The
Now, grind,
JoJo games, again, that's a completely different type of fighting game.
yeah,
Sure, that one has like a full on it's got a full arena where you can do 8-way runs and all that stuff. Like you can it's a game that highly encourages you to do a lot of sidestepping.
that's like the basics of fighting games
Yeah.
broken down to its core. Now it's like, yeah. Which, funny enough, okay, you obviously had those. Jurassic Park got a survival game coming out in first person. Looks
So
interesting,
I joked about that. I called it Jurassic Park with Mia Khalifa.
bro.
Listen, y'all saw that trailer. Y'all saw the girl in the game, and of course, I looked at all of the neckbeards and the ones that don't touch grass. They were like, "Oh, here we go, another flat ethnic diversity character."
Which to me, I'm sitting back like, you guys really just don't got, like, you could complain about anything else. You could have just been like, it doesn't look graphically great. Okay, fine. But that's what you do. Like, come on. Get the hell out of here.
I just couldn't get over the fact, man. The thick glasses, the dark skin. I'm like, oh, Mia Khalifa. We got Mia Khalifa in the game, or her facial likeness, I guess. But I'm interested. I know it's supposed to be a first person type of game. Matter of fact, when they finally showed the gameplay footage, I said, I remember saying, please let this be another Alien Isolation clone, which is what I was getting the vibe of.
Hey, I'm fine with it. I mean, I think a lot of us been wanting Jurassic Park to kind of the games to kind of go in there, because up to this point we got Lego Jurassic Park, which it's Lego games. You're gonna have fun with them, but like, I've always wished that we had gotten a survival Jurassic Park thing where it ain't just me with a gun like on some Dino Crisis.
Well, shout outs to all three Dino Crisis.
Well, shout out to two. Fuck that third one.
Yeah.
That's why I own that one. That third one can kiss my ass. It's like, how do you go? Like, everybody loves the first game because pretty much it was Resident Evil with dinosaurs, right? Even from the gameplay and everything. We love the second game because they were like, all right, we're going to go very arcade shooter with it, where you pick your character, guns ablazing, you get plenty of ammo drops, and you can have fun with it. And then the third one, they were like, let's make it difficult. Put them in space. Why? Why are we in space?
Because dinosaurs in space, man. It's where we're going.
It made no goddamn sense. Fuck that. I'm still waiting for Capcom to be like, we're gonna remake Dino Crisis, but
Well, they technically did by giving us that what was that bullshit called Exoprimal that no one played, no one talks about.
Is it even out?
People, I think certain people got early access to it, and they said that game is mid, painfully mid.
I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, should we be surprised?
I'm not surprised. I really had no intention of playing it. It just wasn't. It didn't look like something I even wanted to play.
Yeah.
What was it? Oh, did you see the trailer for No Rest for the Wicked?
No, I did not.
That game looks interesting. It's like No Rest for the Wicked. Someone finally worked that title. Someone finally worked that title into being an actual game.
So, what is No Rest for the Wicked?
Basically, it's a new action RPG.
Oh, okay. I mean, as many action RPGs throw. I mean, I see this. I see it now.
Yeah, I found it on Steam. It's coming from Moon Studios. Basically the same. Basically, if you like Ori and the Blind Forest, you'll like this game.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, Ori. Yeah, I did actually. Oh yeah, I did see this trailer. My bad. Yeah, because it was right after the Game Awards. I was looking at some of the trailers because I saw bits and pieces of it that got thrown on Twitter. So I did see this one. Yeah, it looks interesting.
Yeah. Some other games that dropped. Number one, going back to the Game Awards stuff. So I'm gonna need the Game Awards to get their priorities in order when it comes to handling their presenters, and acceptance speeches and whatnot, because
you said it best. It kind of goes in line with this year's kind of everything taking the back seat. So they were rushing motherfuckers off stage,
except for Jeff's good buddy. I mean, sir, Kojima comes out on stage with freaking Jordan Peele, and I'm like, bro, we didn't see any gameplay footage, and yet this man has gotten like damn near 20 minutes of straight up glazing.
It's Kojima at this point. I think post him leaving Konami, that whole situation with him and Konami, I think everybody kind of basically. Everybody kind of put him on a platform of like, finally, this guy who is this visionary, he's away from the company that's been fucking up. And I think since then he can do no wrong. That's pretty much what it is.
Bro, it's been like that for 6 years. I mean, do we need another 6 years of doing this? We get it, Kojima. You're gone. You got your own studio. You got what you wanted. You got what what's his name? Keiji Inafune got when he was with Capcom with Mega Man. He got his own studio, his own production team. You finally got that when you left. When you left Konami, you took a good portion of your production company that you built with you, which is cool. I'm fine with that. You work for Sony, and now you got a game that's coming exclusively to Xbox. Great. I love the guy's work. I respect him as a man. I actually seen him once back when I lived in Japan. Are we done with the glazing? I mean, I'm genuinely asking that question. Are we done with the glazing? It's been 6 years. Longer than that, probably, honestly.
Yeah, they're gonna keep going with this. I mean, it's like whatever announcements he does. I mean, you saw what happened when he announced Death Stranding 2.
At least we saw. Well, no, we didn't see no gameplay footage of that shit for several months.
It was just for Death Stranding 2, they just played a trailer that he made for that game specifically, to his credit. So it's in game. It was in game trailer, but it was no gameplay. Which, I mean, let's be real, Walking Simulator 2.0. Sure,
UPS delivery, the game. I mean, I know
I'm fine with it, but at the same time, it's like there. But
But where I was going with all of that was, we've seen some people basically, if you weren't Hideo Kojima, if you were anybody else and you had to come on stage for anything, whether you were presenting a game or you were accepting an award, I think I've seen the wrap it up box get used more times than any other award show for the most unnecessary reasons. Like, okay, the first time this happened, I get it. It's a joke, it's a meme. When Chris Judge came out to do, he wasn't accepting an award, but he was just presenting. He came out, he was the first person to come out, by the way. He only got 2 words in and they started playing the freaking music, and he's like, "Oh, are you serious? Y'all really doing okay? Look, look. I get it. I get the joke. Okay, yes. Listen, I promise I will not stand up here and give a speech for 8 minutes. I won't. But here comes the shots fired here when you said, however, would you happen to know that my speech was longer than the campaign for Modern Warfare 3, and a lot of people was laughing, a lot of people groaned, a lot of people cringed, but a lot of people looked at like, well, he ain't wrong."
Yeah, I mean, but yeah.
So him taking shots at him taking shots at Call of Duty, I thought was pretty funny because it's Call of Duty. It's the punching bag of the internet.
I mean, but let's be real. Like, okay, I'm gonna say this right now because I talked about it offline. I was actually, after Modern Warfare 2, the new Modern Warfare 2, I was genuinely excited for Modern Warfare 3, especially for the narrative that they were going for, right? And they put out Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, and it's a shorter experience from Modern Warfare 2 by like 4 or 5 hours. And that's when I was sitting back watching the playthrough, and I was like, this should have been like DLC for 2.
It should have been.
Because like the way it ends, it's like they're definitely going to make a 4th one.
Mm-hmm.
Why was this not like DLC add-on to expand the life of 2? It was just weird. It was really weird.
Because CJ can answer that question for you. Because it was the month of November, and we all know that the month of November is the Call of Duty cycle.
Yeah.
Game comes out, everybody either loves it or hates it. You go through the battle passes, the DLC bullshit. You then start to updates then come in. Then you hate the game for all the changes that they make to it, because they make a whole lot of changes that either make no sense or some that do make sense. Then we get to the final stage where you actually hate the game. Trailer drops, get hype, wash, rinse, repeat.
And yeah, pretty much. That's the gist of it, So
don't question product. Just sit back, accept it, and be excited for next product.
Mm-hmm.
But just like Skylar B had said, like Kojima got like 15 minutes for an announcement. The devs, voice actors got like 20 seconds for acceptance speeches. Bro, when my man came out and dropped the Wakanda game, because that's really what this was. That shit was the Wakanda game.
It really was.
When I first saw it, I was like, yo, we got Prince Hakeem Zamunda. I'm like, son. When he talked, he mentioned about, that his father, this was a game that his father had put together, and he's taken up the mantle and continuing to work since his father passed on, and all that other stuff. And I was like, yo, game actually looks kind of interesting. I wouldn't mind checking that out. Then not even 10 seconds. 10 seconds later, we're getting this Life is Strange looking ass game to show up. And I'm like, really? I'm like, please, I don't want another one of these. I don't want another one of these.
They're doing another Life is Strange.
It's a Life is Strange ass game, but it's under a different title.
Yeah,
but it just screams like teenage angst shit.
I mean, hey, there's an audience demographic for it, so I'm not necessarily mad at it. It is what it is.
We got what I like to call the brother to the Prince of Persia game. Remember that Prince of Persia game that it was supposed to be the new Prince of Persia remake or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, it's another game. It's not Prince of Persia, but it's a different title.
Yeah, so this isn't the actual full blown remake. This is like continuation.
Yeah, but it looks dope.
I mean, Prince of Persia, much like what's Assassin's Creed, is the one of those games that like I used to care and then I just stopped caring. So I think the last Prince of Persia I played was, you remember that the reboot that came out in for the PlayStation 3?
I remember.
Different character and stuff. I think that was the last one I played, and it was fun. They definitely made it more forgiving and easier than the previous Prince of Persia games. And I remember that was kind of like the sticking point for some reviewers because they felt, oh, it's too easy and blah blah blah, but they love the narrative. So
Wait, my mistake. It's Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
okay.
That's what it is. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Hmm.
Again, looks dope.
That's some of the stuff, like I said, they like I said, it was like you said, it was kind of funny with how, like I said, the presentations and just everything. It's I don't if they're gonna do it next year, they really need to go back to just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't just be about presenting the games, be about the games that you're like that are gonna win, and just leave it at that.
My mistake. That was
Okay, I don't know why I did that.
fucking Google.
Anyways, but yeah, they got to kind of just bring it back, like you said, to the awards itself being at the forefront instead of, yeah.
It was almost non-existent. Like anyone that came out to say anything or talk about anything immediately got shunned. I mean, they had the freaking stage, the get off the stage music playing. And I was like, bro, no one can even say thank you. They just show up and grab the award and they're supposed to just fuck off.
I mean, I would say
Like,
take a page from the Oscars, but even the Oscars kind of
even the Oscars weren't this egregious. Like, think about this. Son, first of all, when Baldur's Gate 3 predictably swept, just cleaned up and just took awards the entire night, for when they won Game of the Year, I remember seeing everybody came up to get the award, and when they were in the middle of dropping the speech, I remember somebody said, "Listen, we lost people, during due to COVID while we were making this game," and I was like, "Man," I was like, "Dude's actually pouring his heart out and everything," and I'm so glad somebody was there and they had their they took a freaking camera phone shot of it. They went from recording the speech to panning over to the teleprompter, and the teleprompter is telling them like cut the speech, get off the stage. It even had like T-minus 20-second countdown. I'm like, bro, they literally just got on stage like not even 30 seconds ago. I'm like, damn, son, y'all really got to reprioritize how y'all do this shit, because this was a hot ass mess for over 3.5 hours. It was it just felt like
it felt like an E3 presentation, but for 3.5 hours
to get through, man.
It should never be that way, to be honest.
But it felt like it. I mean, outside of some trailers that was, hey, get hype moments. Like, other than that, I'm like, okay, how long is this damn thing supposed to last? And it really dragged when Kevin, why was it necessary for you to bring out Gonzo the Muppet?
Which in and of itself is awkward because everybody and their mama sitting in the audience can see that it's a guy with a puppet. So you kind of lose
what was the point of that?
Like, again, it works for the Oscars because we're at home and there's at least a bit of a buffer from the audience and the people on stage at the Oscars to where you can hide a person that's using a puppet.
Yes.
But this did not have that.
This was totally unnecessary. Then the big celebrity to stop by in between movies was Matthew McConaughey.
I didn't see that. What was he promoting?
Oh, you didn't see? Okay, sir. Well, number one, he wasn't as awkward or out of place as Al Pacino. I'll give him that. So Him,
Al Pacino just looked fucking lost. Like, what is
dude, Al Pacino had no
Gaming?
business. He had no business being at the Game Awards. I mean, you remember last year, he came out and the first thing out of his mouth is, "I actually don't play video games, but my grandchildren do." Thank Albert. I appreciate that. I really do. Why are you here again? But no,
Why?
Matthew McConaughey, his approach was a lot different. It was a lot better and a lot shorter. He came out and he said, "Look, I know everybody's expecting me to come out and do my signature. All right, but I'm not going to do it." And again, he's reading off the teleprompter. He's like, "Instead, I'm just going to go pew, pew, pew." And I'm like, "Okay, that's cute. What are you plugging, sir?" So he starts plugging ideas. Well, not even ideas, more like excerpts from a previous movie that he worked on. And he said, we're going to take you guys to a different place. When you travel, time is different. It's like the moment that you're spending in like hours or whatever that go in space are several years on Earth. And I said,
Interstellar.
I said, listen, we all shouted the same thing. "Oh my God, are we getting an Interstellar game? Are we getting an Interstellar game?" Sir, when they dropped the trailer for Exodus, this game took so many cues from Interstellar that I am calling it the Interstellar game. But it looks good. It looks dope.
All right.
Oh, hey, what's up, Mad Chocolate Gaming? But no, it looks really dope. Bro, please look up.
I'll look at it.
Look up the trailer. That shit looks dope. And yes, Matthew McConaughey, he's in the game, of course. When I saw this, I was like, "All right, Matthew, that was good. Thank you, appreciate it." I'm actually hyped to play this.
God, man, it's yeah.
We saw more of what was the name of that game? What's her face? That Microsoft exclusive was a Senzua. I'm drawing a blank. Hang on, because I actually got the first one right here. Hellblade. We saw more footage from Hellblade 2, and that was nice. I mean, it looked more movie than anything else, but okay.
Like I said, this year I didn't really. It was just the stuff that I cared about this year with the trailers. Some of those games we already know, Rebirth and Baldur's Gate 3. It's like the ones that they announced. It was really the Prince of Persia one, Suicide Squad. That game's gonna be dead on arrival. I don't care what anybody says.
Especially, did you see the latest footage that came out from that game? They showed, bro. Did nobody not learn any lessons from Terminator Salvation? Why are you showing us so much stuff and literally blowing the game by showing off all this footage?
Yeah. So to me, so that's why I'm just kind of like, all right, cool.
I didn't even care that much for the Suicide Squad game. It's kind of whatever to me. What else I know there was some other. There was at least one more thing that was shown off at the Game Awards. Other than it being a damn chore to get through.
I mean, like I said, it's
yeah, that's right. The last thing that they showed after the Game of the Year awards, this kind of made me happy because at least I did see some kind of gameplay footage. Monster Hunter Wilds.
Oh yeah, because they're doing another Monster Hunter. So.
Yeah, I thought we were getting Monster Hunter World 2, but this is pretty much the closest thing to it. Monster Hunter Wilds looks like it's going to be incredible because they're running off of the same engine as Monster Hunter World, which anyone who's ever played Monster Hunter World knows that game is incredibly huge, and it's a lot of fun. Like, I personally recommend playing Monster Hunter. If you never played Monster Hunter World, play it. If you want to play a simpler version of it, play Monster Hunter Rise.
I mean, might as well. I mean, especially since you can. Here's the funny thing about Monster Hunter. There are still people still playing that game on the PS2 to this day.
Yeah, of course.
The PSP. There's still people actively on those servers still playing it. Now, I think some of the older games, there's obviously fans that are keeping those servers alive through other methods, but they're still active,
Yeah, I mean,
which is shocking to me to this day.
you get people that they'll run the game through private networks because, while the official network might be down, people are going to play it through private networks and keep it going because those games are still fun to them. Not to mention the fact that you got monsters that more than likely have stayed locked to that game and they have never resurfaced in any other Monster Hunter game since.
It's kind of interesting, like how easy it is to actually get these kind of games. Because remember, Fantasy Star Online on the Dreamcast had fans doing the same exact thing.
Yeah, and they were doing that back with freaking 56K and DSL modems, like
56K
sending private
hopes and
servers.
dreams.
I know, right? Like sending private servers and whatnot, and that's because the game ran off of kind of like an open, not open source, but like you can dial in the server number and like in game, and you're playing with your friends.
Yeah. So it's yeah, they got something here with that. That's why I was like, all right, cool,
Yeah, but that was the Game Awards in a nutshell. I got some buttons that need to be pressed on the issue of Capcom. Now, right now, Capcom, Street Fighter, you guys really were off to a good start with the release of Street Fighter 6. It's been 6 months now since we've gotten a real update. There are two things that have come out. About three things that have come out so far. One was the Ninja Turtle collab. Ninja Turtle collab. At first, I was hyped. I was like, "Oh snap! We get costumes and Ninja Turtle stuff." I'm thinking this is going to be something that's going to be related to, like, I don't know, you can play in Ninja Turtle costumes in the actual game, but no, it's only for your character when you're doing World Tour stuff. I'm like, okay, so this is more DLC nonsense for World Tour mode. If you care about that mode, knock yourself out. I wasn't hype about that price because I think the Ninja Turtle price one was like around maybe $15. I think it was like 15 or $20 or something like that for all of that Ninja Turtle stuff. Fast forward to like last month, I believe, Street Fighter 6 dropped the Costume 3 trailer for all of the launch characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm seeing all the costumes, I'm like, okay, a lot of these costumes are actually pretty dope. I'm cool with it. Everybody's going nuts right now for Juri and her onesie.
Yeah.
Standard, like pretty standard stuff. Good attempt on third costumes. I actually like Chun-Li's third costume. It looks really cool. We finally get to see Zangief in something other than freaking red underwear for once. Man's actually rocking the 3-piece suit and he looks dope. But I noticed that in the trailer there was no price, and I said, "Where's the price at? How much does this stuff cost?" You just showed off a trailer, but there was no price. So give it a couple of days. We'll give it to where the release date drops for the costumes. Here we are playing it. You have to. You can't even just straight up buy the costumes like you want to just buy like the whole bundle and call it a day.
Yeah, normally that would be what you can do if you.
They did not include that. Instead, you have to buy the in-game currency bullshit, the fighter coins, not the Zenny that you get from playing, from doing the World Tour shit, but the fighter coins, the actual fighter coins that allows you to buy shit. And because of the price of the costumes, as well as the colors for the costumes, you're spending it's like 20. I want to say you're spending like almost $15 per costume set. Ultimately, by the time you try to buy every single costume and color for the whole cast, you're looking at well over $80.
If that.
Because it is that, because if you're spending just to get every character's costume and color, you're spending more on that than the cost of the game itself. It's early, but I'm going to go ahead and call this. Capcom is really trying to roll Street Fighter 6 into that DOA 5 DLC practice that nobody was a fan of. Like, you remember, I remember when I said that the most expensive fighting game in the whole world is Dead or Alive 5.
Okay.
All of those costume packs that came out resulted in damn near $3,000 in DLC alone. Because that's how expensive they were.
Wow. Okay.
Street Fighter 6 is going in that direction. I don't want it to, but
I don't think it's going to be as egregious, but it's basically what we got in Street Fighter 5, where it's optional. The difference is that DOA, what pissed me off about DOA 5 and 6 is that it was so egregious to the point to where I think somebody broke it down that you're spending damn near close to $300 on just DLC.
Yeah,
and that's ridiculous. And that's when you tally up for the individual characters. Like when you tally up the individual characters for all the pieces, I think it was like $300 total.
Yeah.
Now Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter games, to Capcom's credit, again, I'm not praising this style. Do not take it the wrong way. They put it in a package deal.
Yeah, people were fine with that.
So it's the package deal that mitigates it, but it's still kind of like, damn, I can't just do it unlocking with the in-game money kind of thing. And it's like,
no, not like how it was that first time. I think when you got everybody's classic costumes, that was Capcom just giving everybody, like, throwing everybody a bone. Like, this is what you give for free for playing the World Tour mode. Now, moving forward, drop that money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're dropping more money than what you paid just to buy the game. It's already bad enough that buying the Ultimate Edition of Street Fighter 6 was an utter waste of money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, flat out waste. But the fact that you drop the costume pack for Street Fighter 6, everybody's third costume, but you don't put it out as a bundle, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You know, all these other companies, they've at least dropped their costume packs as bundles. Capcom, you're not even giving us a bundle at all. You want us to spend X amount of money, you know, to make it complete. Me personally, I'm the type of person who, if I'm going to buy a fighting game or a video game in general, I want the full complete game, meaning all the DLC, all the extras. Give me everything. If I'm dropping money on it, I want everything. I don't want to leave nothing out.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's going to come a time, since all this crap is digital, there's going to come a time where you're going to pull that shit from
the store.
You're going to pull that shit from the store and no one's going to be able to get any of it. Remember back in 2011 when Marvel 3 came out? Remember when Marvel 3 came out? The two extra DLC characters was Jill and Shumagurath. And guess what? That shit got pulled, and you can't even buy them from the store.
Yep.
Now, granted, that was a long time ago. Nobody's even playing vanilla Marvel 3. And, of course, fast forward to Ultimate Marvel 3, they're in the game. But still, for anyone who was playing that game at that time, that's the situation I'm referring to. Or better yet, Dead or Alive 5. When DOA 5 had the freaking millions and millions of costume packs, some of those costume packs was tied to a license, and when that license expired, that costume pack got delisted, and you can't buy it.
Yeah, that's yeah. And now the only saving grace on Ultimate Marvel 3 is I am happy that the fans are continuing it, because some of the mods for that game, crazy. Ridiculous.
Yeah, the character swap mods, the palette swap mods, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like the theoretical what if, because it's like, and okay, so these games are sort of weird for me, because it's like, as a company, you would like Capcom to offer the same support for Ultimate Marvel 3 like Bandai Namco did for Fighter Z, for as long as they did that game, and even to the extent their single player game with Kakarot, DBZ Kakarot, for as long as they've been pushing DLC for that game and stuff. Because the recent one that just came out was for the third Tenchi Budokai tournament where you can face off as Piccolo and get a mercenary Tao and all that stuff. And it's great that they're keeping support for that game.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of crazy.
They gave us more Dragon Ball DLC, which is dope.
Which is always fun. So it's kind of like you wish Capcom did the same thing for Ultimate Marvel 3 for at least 2-3 more years before they said, fuck it, we're done. But
it wasn't so much they were done. I mean, this is a story that we've talked about many times before.
Yeah.
But when it came to Ultimate Marvel 3, the license had expired.
Mm-hmm.
Then to make matters worse, Disney acquired Marvel. And once that happened, that relationship between Disney, Marvel, and Capcom just soured completely because Disney refused Marvel's what is it? Not like Disney refused.
Marvel was game, but Disney
stepped in and said no. They stopped all that crap from happening between Marvel and Capcom because Disney was like, "Hey, we're going to take the Marvel license and we're going to put out our own games." You basically wasted that opportunity by putting out that bullshit Marvel what was it, Skylanders type ass game that nobody liked, nobody wanted.
You did a Marvel Skylanders.
You did a Marvel Skylanders.
You kneecapped Ultimate Marvel, well, the second one, Infinite. You kneecapped it because you wanted to push MCU synergy, which wouldn't be a bad thing, but it was at the same time that they were beefing with Fox for the X-Men license, which is why you didn't get no Fantastic Four or Wolverine or anybody in Infinite.
Yeah,
and then that's on top of you didn't want Capcom. You wanted to change the art design for your Infinite. Why? I don't know, because everybody loved your previous one for 3. Why not stick with that? But you didn't want to do that.
No, then you give us Marvel. How the hell you gave us Marvel Infinite is beyond me, because you dropped this game and it makes sense. You wanted Capcom to make MVC Marvel vs. Capcom MCU edition, where you wanted it to follow everything that was happening in the MCU games, but it was bad. Like, you took all the good stuff from Ultimate Marvel 3 and just made it terrible.
Here's the thing, and it's again the gameplay. Better than Marvel 3. You didn't have the touch of death, which annoyed certain people in the fighting game community. But at the same time, you had visuals that it was like, okay, you had the gameplay, and it was there. People loved it with the gems and stuff. So it made for interesting games. And it actually, in a way, I'm not going to say it leveled the playing field, but you still felt like you had a shot, right?
Oh, there was some broken shit with the gems. I know.
But you still had a shot, right? And it's just like when you pair that with visuals that are a downgrade from your previous game, it's like,
honestly, the game just needed a better shader for one thing. If you had better texture shading, you'd have been okay. Fine. You'd have been okay. We needed a voice mod for Venom, which somebody actually went out and took the time to make. Someone actually did make a voice mod for Venom.
As they should.
Who was it? I thought Monster Hunter was a cool character.
I like the concept of all the stuff that they had in it, but the issue was just like,
did you like Black Panther Wolverine?
hey, that's the best. Hey, to me, that was the smartest way to have Black Panther.
What, make him Wolverine? Why not just give us
Panther
Wolverine?
No, but Panther Claws, the way he moves, it's in line with Wolverine. So fuck it, why not?
No, this is the reason why Combo Fiend doesn't work at Capcom anymore, because he called it functions. He's like, what is a character anyway? Like, a character is just functions in the game. Dude, this is bad PR. Stop it.
But he can't. But he's right, because when you look at the mods, a lot of those mods are based off of pre-existing character stuff with some added stuff that kind of, I guess, try to differentiate it, but we can tell, oh, that's Crimson Viper. Oh, that's like that. We know where they came from. So I didn't mind the Black Panther Wolverine thing. Like, it was a smart way to do it.
Mods. I'm just talking about the fact that when they gave us Black Panther, he was pretty much a stand-in for Wolverine, which already leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth, because when it comes to the versus games, Wolverine has been in every versus game since X-Men Coda. And to have a versus game without him just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all, because it's literally like in theory,
it's a bad game. Even when
I wouldn't say it's a bad game, but you can tell it's something missing out of it because it's not make or break, but it's definitely like,
I mean, and don't get me wrong, not saying that every game in that, I mean, not saying that every game that Wolverine has been in that he's been perfect or like by any stretch. No, not absolutely not. In fact, there is one game that he was god awful in, and to make matters worse, there were two of him, and that was Marvel 2.
yeah.
Marvel 2 Wolverine was probably the worst version of Wolverine out of the entirety of the Versus games.
Well, I mean, because they basically look. Let's be real. That was a time where Capcom was literally pally swapping everything. You see CVS 2, like it's ridiculous how Balrog's character model looks a little bit bigger than Geese's character model.
Well,
Like
yeah,
it still works, but it's like
they took some sprites. Some sprites they just ripped straight out of old games and and just threw them in this game.
Could have used to lose Alpha Balrog. Fuck.
That's what it was.
It didn't. But see, why did his sprite look a little bit bigger than Geese?
Because well, for one thing, they just made him bigger. And you're right. You're right. They definitely made him bigger than Geese. But let's be real here. Balrog's a big dude.
I give you that. It's not like eyesore worthy. I think the only eyesore worthy character in CVS 2 was Morgan because it's like,
absolutely you just ripped her out of Darkstalkers. Just said
pure laziness,
copy paste,
pure laziness. And sometimes you know what, I can respect it because it's like, well, you know what, hey,
I think the only ones that actually had genuine art, made for the game was Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li. Who else? Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li. Oh, of course, Maki, Eagle, and like maybe Yoon, freaking like Yoon, and who else? From the Capcom side, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 more characters. Everybody on SNK was brand new, like brand new art for the game, but Capcom, they only did like probably half the work. Other than that, they just ripped the sprites straight out of old games. But yeah, so anyways, so we got all this other stuff that's happening with as far as bullshit DLC practices that's got everybody in an uproar about Street Fighter. Hell, it got so bad that both Street Fighter and Capcom were trending on Twitter.
I don't think I don't think a lot of stuff. I think a lot of stuff that everybody's complaining about with 6, it's something that needs to be addressed, but not to the point of melting down about it. It's like, no, address it. It needs to be addressed.
No, that's what a lot of people were doing. A lot of people are addressing this because it is bullshit. I mean, how are you going to give us these costumes, but not give it to us as a bundle or give us a better way of just purchasing the costumes? Why do we have to go through this proprietary Capcom fighter coin nonsense?
And even then, you have to make the fighter coins like if you're going to do this, like make it. That was one of my issues with the fight money in Street Fighter V. It's like somebody at Capcom.
No, they did away with that.
No, what I'm saying is in Street Fighter V, a lot of us were able to game the fighter money system because we grinded through survival mode.
Yeah.
So the first 2 seasons, it's like, shit, I already got all this damn fighter money. I can go ahead and buy the characters outright in the first 2 seasons. And you remember midway through the second season, they changed it up to where you didn't get as much fighter money. So a lot of us that already had that, we got grandfathered in. And I was like, that's shiesty, Capcom, because like I don't know too many people that were going to grind through survival like we were. So why would you change that? Oh, because and that's what they're doing here. That's what they're doing here, and it sucks.
Yeah,
it sucks.
I'm not a fan of that crap whatsoever. Like Capcom, do better. All right, that's what y'all need to do right now. You need to do better along with your other longtime rival, Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat's been fucking up.
Mortal Kombat, they're just egregious. It's not enough. It's not enough that you're having people pay for holiday themed friendships and fatalities. But then you got the conquest mode, which I only dipped a toe into it. It's fun. But then I found out there's a lot of pay for play shit going on. And it's not even the good kind of pay for play. And it really is like, wow. So this is what you gotta do, huh? And that's on top of the character. That's on top of the guest characters you gotta buy too. So,
like I said, man, when we went and interviewed for that game, I said, hey, can we get a review copy? Because I wanted to try it out. I wanted to play it and do an actual review for it. And of course, once we got denied, I said, all right, I'm not going to worry about this game then. I'm not going to worry about it because something tells me that this game is going to be another money bag that people have to drop all kinds of house notes to, just to get everything in the game, much like how Mortal Kombat 11 was. But this is a lot worse. Now you're paying for fatalities. You're paying for other microtransactions that should just be in the game for you to just unlock through naturally from playing. I mean, how is it that Resident Evil 4 can get this right, but Mortal Kombat can't? At least in Resident Evil 4, when you go to the gun range for the merchant has the gun range for you.
yeah.
At least when you go do the gun range, you're given chances of either throwing in silver. Was it the freaking balls? You can either do silver ball, 2 gold balls, 3 silver balls, or 3 gold balls, or just mix it up however you want to mix it, and you'll get some kind of perk that's decent.
Yeah.
All we know is that there's a certain amount that exists. I think it was like 12. It was either 12 or 15 or whatever. But once you unlock all of them, you're good. You can pick and choose what you want. Hell, if you get duplicates, you can sell them to to the merchant for money.
Yeah.
But Mortal Kombat, y'all just cannot seem to get this shit right. And I guarantee you there is going to be another expansion like Aftermath was for 11. We're going to get Mortal Kombat something.
I mean, I'm fine with it, but it's
and I guarantee you this, because video games now are costing so much money and DLC decides to be even more ridiculous with their pricing, I have a feeling this is going to be a $50 DLC that's going to drop, or a $50 expansion, if you will.
So let's move on to the last 2 subjects. So Insomniac had a big leak, which I'm going to have to look at some of these hackers. Okay, hackers. Threatening a company that you're going to leak their information for money never works, because here's the thing.
Hey, man, ransomware.
Yeah, but here's the thing about ransomware. It never works out in the hacker's favors unless it's something egregious. When it came to the case of Insomniac leaks, this actually does good for Insomniac for promotion purposes, because what got leaked was the Wolverine this is basically a 5% done game that got leaked.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you get the stupid folks. It's like, oh my God, don't look that good. I'm like, it's like 5%. Like, what are we doing? Like,
barely
it's
even
pre-alpha, barely pre-alpha.
Barely got off the ground.
Yeah, this is just them testing it out. And everybody's like, so it's just Spider-Man Wolverine. Yeah. It's like, what did you think it was going to be? Like, that's fine. Like, so that got leaked online. You can probably check it out. Personally, it's not worth really going out your way to search for it, because to me, it's fine. We get it. You get a good idea of what the game could be, but it doesn't show what the game is going to be, obviously. So that got leaked on top of, I guess, their release schedule, allegedly, where there might be a solo Venom DLC added for Spider-Man 2, which I think a lot of folks figured that was going to be a thing anyway.
That was definitely going to be a thing, because when you got to play with him, when you got to play with Venom in the game,
felt very finished with his character and what he can do.
I'm like, okay. And then look at his boss mode. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a power-up where you get to fly around as Venom.
Yeah, so there's that. Apparently Spider-Man 3, which, of course. And I think in the Wolverine game, apparently there are sections where you can play as Jean Grey, which, okay, that's interesting. But apparently also Insomniac they signed the exclusivity. Well, I think Marvel signed the exclusivity.
It was Marvel. They signed it with Sony
before the exclusivity deal for, I think, like a time exclusivity. Essentially, it's not like only on Sony's, but it's, well, actually, no, it is basically.
Yeah, it's only on Sony for a certain amount of time, and then it's going to go to everybody else. So I'm gonna need everybody. I need all the fighting game fans. I need y'all to chill out, because this does not mean we're getting Marvel 4.
Yeah, no,
even though Sony owns Spider-Man, and Evo, it does not mean that we're getting Marvel 4.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, um, so there's that. And you know, like I said, these leaks, I kind of sat back like, all right, cool, you know, and a lot of this is just stuff that obviously this seems like things that they can also change.
Damn.
Just $500 from a Sunset Overdrive. Yeah, that's which. I mean, let's be real. If you think about it, wasn't Sunset Overdrive part of Game Pass?
It was.
Well, there you go.
It came,
That's why you
it
made
came
$500 because you put the shit on fucking Game Pass. And what did you think was gonna
No,
happen?
but it was a good thing that you did because the game was repetitive and it was also kind of mid. So I'm glad I got a chance to test it out. I played it, didn't go
Everybody
back.
seemed to love it. You know,
I was okay with it.
but you only made $500. It's just like, damn. Like it to me, it makes me wonder how much would it have made if they did a straight up release.
If they had just done a straight up release for it, they probably would have fared a little bit better, got more money from it,
Broke even or something. But it's
at
just
least broke even.
but I mean, I think that sets an example of like I think we talked about on the last episode about how like Game Pass is the gift and the curse because how much are these developers really getting paid?
Well, Game Pass, I don't want to. Well, I can't really say it's a gift and a curse. It's really all about how you do business. You see, if you're going to put your game on a service like Game Pass, you're going to need, as a developer, as a publisher, you're going to be asking for a ridiculous amount of money up front.
Exactly.
Oh, thank you, Stream. That's correct. That is also correct. It was an Xbox exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Speaking of exclusives, that was something that did drop at the Game Awards. I forgot to mention Final Fantasy, the story trailer for Final Fantasy Rebirth 7 remake. Looking cool, looking nice. Seen some nice changes there. Some things we're seeing. We're seeing some kind of some foreshadowing for.
It looks like everything is lining up towards like even with the time rates and stuff. It seems as though even with that and also the shit with Zach being alive in a different timeline, it looks like the game is still going to course correct itself back to the Final Fantasy timeline proper, essentially, to where Aerith is going to die. And maybe it might be Sephiroth killing her, but it might not be in the Forbidden Forest. It may be somewhere else she gets killed. You know, they didn't allude to it, but it's like
No, that wasn't the Forbidden Forest. Remember, she was killed at the Temple of the Ancients.
Yeah, Temple of the Ancients. It might be somewhere else instead of so. And obviously, it looks like the third game is going to probably be where we get Sid, but it seems like the second one, they're really going all out on the open world aspects of it.
No, Sid shows up in this game. Vincent shows up in this game. However, we will not be able to play as Vincent in this game.
You sure?
That's what they said.
I want to say that's a lie, but okay. Unless it's one of those situations where he's there as a guest, kind of like Red
13.
Red 13 was in the last game, where he's like a guest character.
Yeah, but you don't. But you don't get to play.
Which I'm fine with. If he's in the game as a guest character, that's cool too. I think what was interesting about Red 13 in the last game during like the last quarter of the ending of the game was how the computer used him in ways that did help you. So
yeah, what if they do this? Square, Square, if you do this, I will laugh and I will humbly accept your apology. Much like how we got Yuffie's game with Interlade or Intertrode or whatever. Interlude, sorry. Like much like how we got the interlude for Yuffie for her to have her own game. Why do I got a feeling that after Rebirth we're going to get another interlude and it's going to be for Vincent?
Which I'm fine with.
No, but here's the thing. So it'll be about Vincent and what
Surface.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be about Vincent's life leading up to where he was put in the casket and when you find where Cloud and company finally meet him, right?
Huh.
Now, if they did that, I will accept that this is a step in the right direction. I still want a proper, like, total tear down, built from the ground up remake of Dirge of Cerberus.
Oh no! You notice that some of those characters from Dirge of Cerberus popped up in the last game.
Yeah,
Also integrated, which means that Vincent's interlude, whatever the heck they're going to call it, is basically going to be Dirge of Cerberus.
like I said, well, remember, Dirge of Cerberus took place after.
No. What I'm saying is it's going to be Dirge of Cerberus, except it's going to be
like the prequel.
like a prequel Dirge of Cerberus, where we're still getting those kids. Because again, it's funny, those Dirge of Cerberus characters popped up in the last remake and in Yuffie's thing. They're going to use that as their way of saying, hey guys, we're so sorry for Dirge of Cerberus. Here's what your game proper would have been like if we actually got our head out our ass and actually gave a shit. You know, I'm not saying they didn't give a shit back then, but
we knew what we were what we're doing now.
Yeah.
So they had a chance to pull like a dragon and have Vincent play like his standalone game and not an RPG style like everyone else.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that's what they're going to do for Vincent, which I'm fine with. Like I said, the Yuffie's thing, I'm almost done with it. It's fun. Yuffie's definitely going to be a problem in Rebirth when you play as her, because look, what's her face? Keep forgetting her hand-to-hand combat chick.
Tifa.
Tifa, she was ridiculous in the last game when you controlled her. So, but yeah, so on the front of past that, Spider-Man 2's new game plus thing got delayed to early next year, which I'm like, why the hell was that not like part of the game? Why wasn't that
just part of the game when it why wasn't it part of at launch, which is what it should have been?
Yeah. I meant to ask you, the Steam box, not Steam, the Steam
Deck.
Steam Deck, you still getting it?
There's so many copycats now. You know, ROG's got one, freaking Legion's got one. I mean, everybody has hopped on that bandwagon of making their own Steam Deck. Some actually do better than the actual Steam Deck, but you know, of course, it is without its, it's not without its limitations. Steam Deck, I was interested in getting the Steam Deck OLED. Like, I still would like to have one. It's just not an immediate thing for me.
Yeah.
I mean, because if I still got a gaming laptop, then I can rock off of that. I can play every damn game off a gaming laptop, as opposed to a Steam Deck where I'm limited to what I can play because not everything has been optimized for the Steam Deck.
Yeah. So, which kind of goes into something that came out. This year has been, when it comes to gaming, there's been a lot of arguments when it comes to digital gaming. A lot of digital stuff in stores disappeared, and that includes TV shows you can buy digitally and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's really
Sony's under fire for that one.
Yeah, and it's really kind of calling to this whole thing with video game preservation. This has been a thing even before all this that a lot of gamers have been pushing for, is gaming preservations. And when you have games that are digital only, it puts the consumer in a bit of a bind, because once those games are gone, you can't get it anymore. Like my PlayStation 3 right now, like I occasionally boot it up to play, Third Strike Online, which is no longer, you can't get the shit. You can't get it anymore.
Can't get it.
I still have it on my PS3. I never deleted it. It's still there. If I delete it, I can't get it back. Right. Same thing for Marvel, the Marvel 1 Origin. I still have that.
Yeah, the Marvel Origins, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. What's the other one?
Oh, somebody recently said it too. Ubisoft The Crew.
Streams said that like the Crew's gonna go offline, which kind of saw that one coming. But no, like Marvel Origins and Marvel vs. Capcom 2, both the Simpsons and X-Men games you can only play on PS3. There are so many games that are forever locked behind the freaking digital storefront of the PS3 or the Xbox 360. Worse yet, a lot of those games have now been delisted and you can't even get them. So if you bought them way back when, hold on to them. Hell, even if you get rid of the console that that you played it on, as long as you still have access to your account, you can still download those games.
Yeah,
which is a good thing.
Street Fighter 3 Online is on PSN Plus Premium, but it is PSN. Wow. Okay. Well, that makes
Third Strike Online actually went to PSN Plus Premium.
that makes sense. So yeah, but
When
if
the
we're
hell did they announce that? That just seemed like it just came out.
PlayStation has been doing stealth stuff for so long, where it's like, I didn't know that game was on there, because it's kind of like on the Switch, right? So I wanted to play Zelda: Link to the Past, so I thought I can just go on the eShop and just download the game. So apparently Nintendo has a thing where you download the SNES.
Yeah, that's what they did. They took the the original eShop from the Switch and from the Wii U and the old Wii. Completely different. Now, now instead of just getting the games individually, you just pay for the additional add-on to your online subscription. Basically, if you buy Nintendo's online subscription, it gives you access to
all the NES games.
to their old library of stuff.
Yeah. So, but let's end pressing buttons off on a good note. GTA 6 is finally here, and we're back in Vice City, a bigger Vice City. You might as well call it Florida.
I'm calling it the Florida Man game.
Yeah, it's Florida Man the game, because one of the things about Vice City, as much as I enjoyed it, wow, it's kind of weird. Okay, wow,
ridiculous.
So they basically did the same thing. Like, I'm not even getting into that, but Vice City to me, I always felt Vice City was smaller. It definitely is smaller than San Andreas, for sure.
It's even from the original Grand Theft Auto trilogy, San Andreas was always known as like the biggest map game, period.
But it felt like even when playing Vice City, right? Vice City still felt small.
Of course.
When you go from one island, if you're on one half of the island and go from top to bottom, it still felt small, right?
Yeah.
So I think all of us knew that if they did a GTA 6, they had to go back to Vice City in some way, shape, or form. Because think about it, GTA 4, they went back to Liberty City. It was basically New York, just huge and big. Obviously, 5 is San Andreas, except it's a lot way bigger, and they expanded on a lot of things and made
pretty
it
much the state of California.
Yeah, state of California. And obviously, this one, like you said, Florida Man the game, and it's Miami, probably swampland from Louisiana a little bit and stuff. It looks like,
Nah, that was that's the Everglades.
Yeah, Everglades. So you're getting basically all of Florida, basically, which it looks like it's a good experience. It looks like we're getting a very Bonnie and Clyde sort of couple, but it looks like it might be a switch around, because it might just be focused on the girl, and her partner might just be there as an NPC in a way. So everybody lost their some of the usual suspects, like women, and I'm like,
not even that. Fuck it, this is my show. I'm gonna bring it up because when I saw the trailer,
I was hyped. I was like, all right, cool.
I was hyped for it. I was like, yeah, this is Florida Man the game. However, when I saw the main character, I paused right when we saw her in her prison jumpsuit, and I said, and go, neckbeards. Go ahead and comment. She's flat. She looks manly. She looks this. Are we sure it's a woman? Is she trans?
You know what I tell those guys?
Hold on. Drama alert. Our good old buddy Keemstar was the first one to stir that shit pot by making all these outrageous claims about the main character. I'm like, bro, we've only just seen little excerpts, just little spitball shots of footage of the game. We didn't even see any actual gameplay. It was just in-game cutscenes. Can we get some in-game cutscenes first before everybody starts making judgment calls on what this game is? Thank God the actual official trailer drops, I think later this either later this week or sometime next week. I think it's after Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, my thing was like, I'm look, get ready for 15 to 20 years of GTA 6, people. That's just
absolutely. We're dude, you and I are probably gonna be in our 60s by the time
my kids are gonna be like, hey dad, GTA 6. Yeah, that shit came out, son, way back in 2024. Well, it comes out in 2025.
We're gonna get GTA 6 is gonna be around until possibly 2050.
Third console generation of PS8
until 2045 we'll get the trailer for GTA 7.
It's going to be a entirely new city, or it's just going to be Liberty City Redux.
And then guess what?
Actually, you know what?
And then hold on. And in 2061, Red Dead 3 finally gets announced.
The next GTA after 6, if they're smart, encompass all 3 game cities into one. Encompass Liberty City,
So
Vice City,
basically,
and that, and
so
you
make
just
it
fly in between different cities.
so. In other words, just make GTA Online its own game, but massively expand on it to where you can go to this location, you can go to this city, you can go to this city. I agree with you. I like the idea.
That's the next step they have to do.
Here's the problem. If the technology ain't there yet, I can see this. Number one, this is going to be probably a full terabyte size game. If that was to happen.
On the low end.
No, just for storage in general. Storage wise, the game itself is going to probably be a terabyte.
Yeah. And then you add in loading times in between flying between both cities.
And then also having a storage capacity. I'm sorry, not storage, having a server capacity to run the game, because this is pretty much just going to be an online game.
And then you figure if they did a GTA Online where you can go between all cities, that's a lot of heavy. Jesus, yeah.
Like I said, I like the idea. I just know there's a whole lot of heavy lifting that that hopefully the PlayStation 8 will be able to pull off.
Yeah, I like I do, like I said, I'm digging GTA 6. I think that's going to be a banger for Rockstar for sure. I think more than anything, I see that and I'm like, that's great. It'd be nice to get an updated version of Bully, new Bully game. That'd be great.
Yeah, we'll probably never see any of those games again. Bully, Red Dead. I mean,
Red Dead, I can see them doing it, but again, it's going to be because one of the things about Rockstar, I give them credit, is that when they put effort into a game, they focus solely on that game, and everything else gets kind of pushed to the wayside. Because remember, they did Red Dead Redemption 2, and then did that come out before GTA 5, or was it after GTA 5?
It was after.
So after they did GTA 5. Boom, they did Red Dead 2. So it's like, if we're going to get another Red Dead, it's going to pretty much be after GTA 6.
But who's to say they would even do that? Who's to say they would even repeat that kind of history of dropping it? Because, for all we know, Rockstar could have split the team up to have half the team working on at least the beginning stages of Red Dead while they were finishing up GTA 5.
True.
And then they worked on and then continued to work on GTA 5. Continued to work on Red Dead 2, dropped it, and then gave us GTA Online. And then they were supposed to give us more stuff for Red Dead, and we never got it. And we've just been stuck on GTA since 2013.
Yeah. I mean, look, I played GTA for the story mode, and I never.
I'm thinking about it. 2013. It is 2023. We have been playing GTA 5 for 10 years.
See, when they jumped from the PS3,
it was a PS3.
It was on the PS when GTA 4 was on the PS. Well, GTA 5 was on the PS3, and it was during that transition to PS4. I didn't mind that. Hey, you can get GTA 4 on the PS4, PS5, well, PS4. Didn't mind that. I thought that made perfect sense because fine. I think where it got egregious to me was when there was like, hey, you could buy GTA 5 on the PS5. Now I'm like, for why? Why can't it just be a free upgrade? Because to me, when you buy on the PS5, it's like there wasn't much of a difference other than the graphics, more or less.
Yeah, like it still definitely had its issues.
And granted, they added, and it was in the additions that they had for GTA 5 up to that point, the PlayStation 5 was more so for GTA Online when it came to the story, which kind of irked me because I'm like, this GTA is prime for story DLC, and yet you guys couldn't even do that. Like it rubbed me the wrong way because I felt that they could have easily just did a story DLC for GTA if you're going to really do it for 10 years like that. So It is what it is.
Like, well, before we end off everything, I would like to say number one, congrats to Baldur's Gate for cleaning house.
Three.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 for cleaning house. For taking damn near every award as predicted. Spider-Man 2, better luck next time. Hopefully, I'm not even gonna say it.
I think it's one of those things.
It's low hanging fruit at this point for me to make fun of
thing,
all the stuff that everybody makes fun of.
The thing with Spider-Man 2 to me was like, look, it got all the acclaim for the first game. To get that same acclaim for 2, you're just being greedy. I think Baldur's Gate 3 definitely deserved to get all the accolades it got for sure. So Spider-Man 2, it didn't mean that, oh man, it's a bad. No, Spider-Man 2 is a solid fucking game. The improvement over the first game. So it's like, hey, it didn't win awards. It ain't a bad thing.
No, the fact that it didn't win a single award is kind of
RE4 didn't either. I don't mean it was a bad
RE4. No, see, but RE4 got at least 1 or 2 nominations. Spider-Man got 7 nominations and didn't win a damn thing.
It's that crowd.
Like I said, popularity contest. We know that Spider-Man 2 definitely came with its fair share of controversy.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, folks, definitely play God of War Valhalla. What I love about it is that
that got announced at the Game Awards, by the way.
So yeah, it's out right now.
And it's out.
Downloaded. Great DLC. It definitely has Kratos kind of going back over his previous life from the original God of War game series in a way that his character finally, when you play it, you kind of see how he finally gets to the point of making peace with what he was before up until now. Because if you remember at the end of God of War Ragnarok, he saw that sign of what he could possibly be. And that's pretty much what Valhalla is. So he's kind of Rolodexing through his past and who he's killed and everything. I'm not going to spoil that. You should definitely play it. But it's actually really good. It basically encompasses all the gameplay from the regular game into this. And you battle a variety of enemies, some old, some new. And it's actually really, really solid. So definitely play it. I'm trying to think. What else? Detective Pikachu Returns. Solid Pokemon game for sure.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else came out this year. Shout out to Street Fighter 6, like you said earlier. Good starting point for Street Fighter. Like I said, Capcom, get your shit together. I like how Cyberpunk put out a DLC that everybody's hyped, and I'm like, is anybody really caring about Cyberpunk at this point?
I mean, only just a handful of fans that still play it, I guess. I didn't really care.
I mean, look, I'm almost done with my gaming PC, and I'm questioning whether I should just download that game and play it.
Well, at least you could actually play it this time, and congratulations, CJ! You made it. You crossed that finish line to actually play the game with no issues.
Yeah, I refuse to buy that shit on a console. You can kiss my ass on that one. Like, it's just like they did the PlayStation thing this year. I realized with just life and just everything, the only games I really played was the big major releases and a lot of like old PlayStation like 4 and 3 games and stuff. So like pretty much the last game I played was Spider-Man 2. Well, no, Valhalla I played recently. So. But like it wasn't as much as the previous year, but I know next year I'm definitely going to be heavily on it, especially with the new Yakuza coming out. They just the one that just dropped previously with what's the man who
man who removed his name or something? Yeah,
something like that. That just dropped, and I need to jump on that and play it before the new one comes out.
I've been collecting the Yakuza games or the Like a Dragon games. Never playing them. Like, I know I should, but I mean, I've just been buying them. Like, if they show up on Steam for like stupid cheap, I grab them.
Yeah, 0 through 6 should already be on Steam, I believe.
They are, but I just waited for them to, I waited for a sale, and I just grabbed them up when they were like $5 each or something.
Yeah. So, but yeah, folks, that is pressing buttons. We might touch on some gaming stuff when we do our year in review for 3BG for sure. But that's pressing buttons for the year of 2023. And we will see you guys in 2024.
Yep, be back in 24.
Peace out, y'all.
That boy is Benny Hanna.